How do you prevent losses throughout the global financial crisis? The idea here is that you don't panic. If you haven't actually sold out of an investment option, then you haven't actually lost anything at that point in time. The value of investment's gone down, but you haven't actually sold out, so you haven't lost. The easiest way to think about this is, as I talk it through with people, is to think about a house. If you bought a house for $100,000 and the value of that house went down to $50,000, I ask them, well, would you sell out? Would you sell the property? And most of them say, no, of course I wouldn't. I'd be making a loss of $50,000. But if you did sell out, you've locked in your loss, you've taken the $50,000 hit. And then if you saw the market return again to $100,000 in value again, if you want to get back into the market, you've got to pay $100,000. So you've lost $50,000 on the way down, and then you've had to pay out another $50,000 on the way up again. So you've effectively lost $100,000 in the transaction. The same thing really applies with your shares and unitized investments, because it's very much a similar thing. If you're selling out at a low point in the market, then you're basically locking in your losses, like you're locking your losses when you sell a property at half the value it is. So it's crucial not to panic. Avoid moving out of the market at those real low points. And obviously, it's hard to tell when the low points are. Where the bottom of the market is, but you can tell where low points particularly are. We're at a low point now. We don't know whether it's the bottom of the market, but we're at a particular low point now. The reasons for the negative cycles in returns are always different. The previous downturns related to, I guess, around the tech wreck were often around the early 2000s. They were really related to debt with individuals and corporations. Now the downturn is relating to the government debt. So the amount of government debt, we've really transferred all the debt from individuals and companies to countries. So I guess the point is there that cycles are a natural phase of life. The causes of them are different, but it's there's nothing new under the sun in those terms. There's always going to be these cycles, and I guess it's up to us to try and work through those cycles. They're going to be there. It's a matter of making wise decisions throughout them. Understand that no one can consistently predict the future. Being in the finance industry and trying to assist people with making the right decisions, I can't predict the future. There are very few people that regularly get it right. If you put 10 economists in the room, you'll get 11 or 12 different opinions about what's going to happen into the future. No one can predict the future. You've got to put a plan in place and stick through it, remove the emotion from the decision-making process. Investing during negative cycle is like buying assets on special at a discount, like we talked about earlier. And you prevent investment losses by riding out the wave. Now, I understand it's really difficult at the moment if you're approaching retirement or retired. There's a lot of research to suggest that if you retire in a negative year, because you're drawing on your assets whilst they're in a low point, it does have long-term negative impacts on your investments and therefore your lifestyle outcomes. Now, that's a really difficult thing to face. So if you can work through this period, or even if it's part-time, it has a really large impact on it has a really positive impact on reducing that impact, that negative impact of negative markets at the time of retirement. So if you can either stay in the workforce a little bit longer or work part-time, that has a really positive outcome on preventing you being overly affected by negative returns.